Okay, good day, guys. So today we will be doing 2022 number 4. Now, number 4 questions are usually relations and functions and graphs. So we will be doing the answers or the solutions, I should say, for May, June 2022 number 4. So the question says that the function f, okay, so the question was saying that f of x or function x is 5x plus 7, and g of x or gx is equals to 3x minus 1. For the function given above, determine g of a third. Now, obviously, because they asked for the function g, we would not use function f. We will only be using this equation, where g of x is equals to 3x minus 1. Right? So if they ask you for g of a third, we can clearly see, we'll be using the equation g of x, we can clearly see or clearly say that x is equal to a third. Right? So if x is equal to a third, wherever we see x in our original equation, which is 3x minus 1, we'll put a third. So it's 3. And now the relationship between 3 and x is multiplication. So it would be 3 by a third minus 1. Remember, the brackets tells us, according to distribution law, when you have a number right outside a bracket, you have to multiply, right? So 3 by a third, let's just do it so you guys can see. 3 over 1 multiplied by 1 over 3. 3 into 3, 1. 3 into 3, 1. So 3 by a third would be 1 minus 1, which is equal to 0. And that is how you would do this first question. Okay, so now the second question is f to the power minus 1. That just means that f, let me write it down, f to the minus 1 means you have to find the inverse NVR of function f, right? So when you see f to the negative 1, it means to find the inverse. So basically, they're telling you to find the inverse, f inverse of minus 3. Yeah, so before we do this, where we put minus 3, wherever we see x is minus 3, right, we have to find f inverse x. And obviously, because it's function f we're talking about, we will not be using g of x, we'll be using f of x. Now, f of x is 5x plus 7, right? So let us go into the process, right? F of x is equals to 5x plus 7. Right? Now, there are 3 steps that we have to do to find the inverse. The first step is, so this is the first step. Your first step would be to let y be equals to f of x. So you're going to say y is equals to 5x plus 7. The second step would be to exchange, E-X-C-H-A-N-G-E, x and y. So wherever we see x, we're going to put y, and wherever we see y, we're going to put x. So it's going to be x is equals to 5y plus 7. And then your third step would be make y the subject. Now to make y the subject, that would be x plus 5y, not x plus, sorry. Right, let me just erase this. Right, we're going up here. We're going to say x is equals to 5y plus 7. Then we make y the subject. Now remember, whenever we have to make something the subject, we do the opposite of BODMAS. Right? BODMAS would tell us the order in which to do something, right? But when we're making something the subject, we go backwards from BODMAS. So we check to see if there's subtraction. If there's no subtraction first, we cross out the S. Then is there addition? Yes. So because there's addition, we will carry across the plus 7 first. So if we carry across plus 7 over the equal sign, it will be the opposite. Now the opposite of plus is minus. So that is how we get x minus 7 is equals to 5y, right? We do the addition, right? Then we see if it have multiplication. It does. 5y means 5 multiplied by y. So you're going to carry across the multiply by 5. And if we carry across multiply by 5, the opposite of multiplication is division. So it's going to be x minus 7 is equals to, all over 5, or divide by 5 is equal to y. Now, we made y the subject, so it's f inverse x is equal to whatever y is equal, which in this case is x minus 7 all over 5. But that is not what they ask you. They ask you for f inverse of minus 3. So that means x is equals to minus 3. So wherever we see x in this equation, we're going to put it, right? I will put it here because I don't want to run out of space. So x is equals to minus 3, right? So if we know f inverse x is equals to x minus 7 all over 5, then it would be f inverse minus 3 would be minus 3 minus 7 all over 5. So minus 3 minus 7 is equals to minus 10 all over 5, which is equals to minus 2. So f inverse 3 is minus 2, equals to minus 2. And that would be your answer for this. All right? Let's go on to the next one. All right? Right. So the next one in, well, part B and 4 is a graph. So remember, I told you number 4 is relations and functions as well as graphs. So we need to look at this. The line L is shown in the grid below, right? So this is line L. They said write the equation of L in the form y is equal to mx plus c. So before we even do this, let's just see what is y, what is m, what is x, and what is c. Right? So y is equals to mx plus c, where m is equal to your gradient, and c is known as your y-intercept. Right? Now, to find your gradient, right, the formula for gradient, right, so m is equal to y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. So what we have to do is find two coordinates in this line that we can read clearly, right? I personally will choose this one right here, right? And that coordinate there would be x is 3, y is 0. So this would be minus 3, 0. Right? And then the next coordinate that would be easy for me to read would be right here. Right? That this is x is 6, y is 3. So this is 6 and 3. Right? So now those are the coordinates we're going to use. The points we're going to use. So what we have to do is choose one as group 1 and one as group 2. Right? This one is group 1. I would say this is x1, this is y1. And this is x2 and this is y2, right? Now we're going to put it in this formula. We know the gradient, or m, is equals to y2, which is 3 minus 0, y1 is 0, divided by x2 is 6 minus, what is x1? Negative 3. All right, so now we know the gradient would be 3 over 6 minus 3 is 6. A minus and a minus is a plus, so it'll be 6 plus 9. 6 plus 3, which is equal to 9. So we know the gradient, if we break this down further, is a third. Right? Now, we can find c in two ways. I'll just do the one way. Right? Or if time permits or space permits, I'll do the two ways so you guys could see. Right? The first way is where you choose a point, right? Any point. Well, I'll use this coordinate, right? We'll use coordinate 6, 3, that is on line L, right? We know the gradient is equals to a third, and then we put it back into this formula. So remember, coordinates is always x and y after. So that means 3. So they say y is equals to mx plus c. So we have to find out c. That's 3 is equals to m, which is a third, by x, which is 6, plus c. We make c the subject. So that's 3 is equal to a third by 6 is 2 plus c. You're going to carry across, carry across the 2. So plus 2, this is, although we're not seeing it, it's positive 2. We carry across positive 2, it'll turn to negative 2. So it's 3 minus 2 is equals to c. So that is c is equal to 1. Now we're going to put it back in the formula. Y is equals to m, which is a third, x, plus what is c? C is 1. And this would be your equation of the line. Y is equals to a third, x. Let me just erase that line. Right? Y is equals to a third, x, plus 1. Right? Also, the other way, I don't have space to write it, but the other way, okay, so method 2 to do this, right, is y minus y1 in brackets is equals to m by x minus x1 in brackets. And we have to make it in the form where y is equals to mx plus c. Now, y1 and x1 is a coordinate. So you're going to use one coordinate. Same thing, we'll use 6 and 3, right? And we know m is equals to 2. So 6 is x1, 3 is y1. So it's y minus 3 is equals to a third by 6 minus, not 6, sorry. By a third by x minus 6. So it's y minus 3 is equals to a third x. So you're going to multiply a third by x and then a third by minus 2. A third by minus 2 is minus 2. And then we're going to make x the subject, right? I mean y the subject. So you're going to carry across this minus 3. So y is equals to a third x minus 2 plus 3. So that's y is equals to a third x plus 1. And this is the next way that we can do the equation of the line, right? By using this formula right here. And this formula just tells us that we have to use the gradient and a coordinate. Or you can use this method. Whichever method you're comfortable with, you can use that, right? Okay, so now this is part 2 of B in number 4. The equation of the line Q, so they give you line Q is y is equals to minus 2x plus 8. Write down the coordinates where x crosses the x-axis. Now, when let me type this down. So I'll be typing this down. When a line crosses the x axis. So when a line crosses the x-axis, this means that y is equal to 0 at the point that it crosses the x-axis, right? So when a line crosses the x-axis, it just means that, look at this spool. All right, so when a line crosses the x-axis, this means that y is 0. So what we're going to do is we know the equation of the line for Q is y is equal to minus 2x plus 8. We know that we're going to try to find out the coordinates. So we know that y is equals to 0, so we have to find out for x. So when y is equal to 0, that is 0 is equals to minus 2x plus 8. We're going to make x the subject. We always want positive x, so I'm going to carry this across. So if I carry across the entire minus 2x, it's going to be positive 2x. So 2x is equals to 8. So x is equals to 8 divided by 2, which is equals to 4. So that means that y is equals to 0 and x is equals to 4. And remember, coordinates is always x first, 4, and then 0. So this is your coordinate for when Q crosses the x-axis. Right, and now they ask you write down the coordinates so when Q crosses the y-axis. And remember, I said from before, hold on, when a, make it smaller so you guys could see it. Right, so when a line crosses the y-axis, the point at which it crosses x is equal to 0. All right. So when a line crosses the y-axis, the point at which it crosses, the line crosses the y-axis, x is equals to 0. So we know that the equation of the line, again, y is equals to minus 2x plus 8. We know that x is equals to 0. We want to calculate for y. So that means wherever we see x in this equation, right, we're going to put 0. So y is equals to minus 2 by 0 plus 8. So y is equals to 0 plus 8. So y is equals to 8. So x is 0 and y is 8. So my coordinates will be 0, 8. Right? 0, 8. And those are your coordinates for those are your coordinates at the point at which Q crosses the y-axis. Right? So now let's go down. On the grid on page 14, that is above, draw the graph of the line Q. Now, to do that, we're going to draw the two coordinates. We know that the first one coordinate is 4, 0. So let's go up. Right now, obviously, guys, because when you're in CXC, you have to write in pencil. I will just use a next color so that you guys could see. Right? So it's 4, 0. This is coordinates when x is 4. Sorry. This is the coordinate. Right? X is 4 and y is 0. Right? And the next coordinate, let's just make sure to make, so we wouldn't get wrong, is 0, 8. That is x is 0, y is 8. That would be here. Let me just draw it properly. So to make things better, on your x-axis, y is equals to 0, and on your y-axis, x is equals to 0. Right now, they told you to draw the graph. Let me just put, this is 0, 8. Right, then we're going to use a line to connect those two. Right. Here. And let me make this the color of the coordinates. I don't think I have that color, but yeah. So this would be a line Q, right? Let's label it. This is Q, and Q is equal to y is equals to minus 2x plus 8. Minus 2x, right? So this is y is equals to minus 2x plus 8. Right? And this just tells the examiner that, hey, this is my line, Q, and the equation for that line is y is equals to minus 2x plus 8. All right, so that was that part there. All right, complete the statement below. According to the graph, the solution of the system of the equation consisting of L and Q. That means, this just basically means, where does L and Q intersect? So where does the two lines meet? The coordinates of the two lines meet up. So if we look, they actually meet up, and I'll put this in green so you guys could see. They actually intercept at this coordinate here. Let's put a circle there. That is x is 3, y is 2. So it would be at the coordinates 3, 2. And that would be your answer for the last question there. 3, 2. Right, and that is it for this question, number 4, May, June 2022.